Hey y'all, it's Deja and I'm back with another video. Y'all, I know my hair look kind of messy, but I wasn't about to put heat in my head again to record this video, and I already put heat in my head this morning when I went to work. What you get is what you get right now. What time is it? It is 9:25. Okay. It's 9:25. I'm not putting no heat in my head. But y'all get the concept of my hairstyle, okay? Look at it. Okay, let me stop playing. Okay, y'all know based on the title, I'm about to give y'all 4 books that they not self-help books or self-care books, but they're a full book. What the fuck? They are 4 books that I would recommend reading if you just want a good read, if you just like chilling and you just want to, read a good book. I got 3 like suspenseful books and then 1 romance books. So I'm gonna do the romance books first. I read 6 books this year. I'm aiming for 10. I just actually picked out my next book by one of these authors. So well, that just happened. But I just picked out my next book that I'm about to start reading tonight by one of these authors. And I really love her books. I'm gonna tell y'all who it is when I get to one of her books. But I really love her books because they will really have you like sitting on the edge of the seat, like, oh my God, what's about to happen next? Like, oh my God. But I'm gonna start off with this romance book. Y'all might recognize it or know about it or heard about it because the movie just came out August 9th, but It Ends With Us. Y'all, this is a good romance book. Like when I found out that the movie was coming out, I'm like, I gotta hurry up and go get the book because I want to read the book before the movie come out because y'all know sometimes the book be better than the movie or the movie. I just want to compare to see if they get everything that was in this book in that movie. So I read the book. Me and my best friend went to go buy the book together. We read it together and we discussed it. She's seen the movie. I have yet to see the movie, but this is a good book. It's basically like about it's a romance, like I said. Um it's about this girl. The beginning of the book, her father passed, and then she went back home that same night after the funeral, and she met this man, and her life basically like changed forever. Um, the girl name is Lily, and then his name is Rob. So they met at the rooftop the day of, the same day of her father's funeral, and they were just talking and stuff, and he basically like, I don't do relationships, and she was respecting his wishes and she wasn't really pursuing him. So then later on she had met his sister, but she didn't know that they was related at the time. So as the time go on, she ended up opening up a flower shop, and she hired the sister, and she found out that they was related because the brother came by to help them set up the shop and clean up and stuff like that. So long story short, he's basically like pursuing her and things like that, like chasing after her. Remind y'all, he said that he wasn't a relationship person. He don't do relationships. He just likes to basically have sex. So um y'all know how some books go. He ended up pursuing her. They ended up being together, and they went through a lot. This book will teach you things. I'm not even gonna lie about. Basically, love yourself. If a man is doing things that you don't like and that you know that it's not right, no matter what he been through in his past, he's reflecting it on you. Leave. Okay, that's a good book. I'm trying to go see the movie like next week. I probably go myself to go see the movie or go with my coworkers because I read with my coworkers and they read the book too because I recommended it, so they want to plan and go see the movie. So of course I'm gonna go see the movie. But I read the second one too. I feel like the second one was kind of like a force, like a push book, like a I'm gonna get this out because they love the first book so good. But the second book doesn't really hit. It just goes based off her her past, like her childhood and her ex, because her ex has popped up in this book too, so that caused some problems between her and the man that she was dating. But it goes back with this her childhood, their childhood, because he was homeless, like her ex was homeless and he was living next door in an abandoned house next to her. And she would like bring him food or let him come over and take a shower and stuff like that. So, and it goes in a lot of detail about that because she do like these Dear Ellens. Like when she was a kid, she used to journal, and her entry was Dear Ellen. Warning, you're going to kind of get irritated with the Dear Ellens, because I know me and my best friend did, and a lot of reviews that I've seen was like, oh my god, the Dear Ellens, they so long, but in the end it's all worth it. So It Ends With Us is a great romance book that I would recommend. Okay, the next book, y'all. Okay, this is the first book I read by this author. And y'all, when I tell y'all I could not put this book down, I read this book within like probably 3-4 days. It was that good. It had me on the edge of my seat, like, oh my God, what's going to happen next? It had me anxious in my bed reading at night. I'm just like, I just could not wait to get finished with the book to see what would happen next, because every time you turn the page, or every other chapter, or every chapter really, or every time you turn the page, every other page, it's something like, oh my goodness. And that book is The Housemaid. Y'all, I don't want to pronounce her name wrong, but Frida McFadden, she did her thing with this book. And it's a second book to this. Yes, I liked it. It was okay. But this one right here, the first couple pages, you gonna be like, why is she even dealing with that? Like, okay, so she's a felon, and you know, felons can't really get a good job, so she became the housemaid. So she was working for this family, and the wife, Nina, she was just so mean and like bitchy, and she had like a nasty attitude, and she would do things and say things that she know that didn't happen. Like, if she was to, like, if something was to get thrown away, she would blame the housemaid. I forgot her name. Millie. So she would blame Millie, which is the housemaid. She would blame Millie for doing things that she did, Nina did, and she will make it seem like y'all, I'm trying to tell y'all some of the book without actually telling y'all the full book, because it's just like, oh my goodness, like you would think that you would had it figured out, like what's going on and things like that. So okay, so she started working for the family, Nina and her husband, and she was just doing the best that she can, especially with her being a felon. She didn't want to lose her job. So when conflict came up, she just took the blame for it because she didn't want to lose her job. So they moved her in actually, and they put her in the attic upstairs. So she went upstairs and she started noticing little things about the room, like the window wouldn't open or it was scratches on the door and things like that. So, she would just wonder things like that. And then um so everything was coming along. She ended up building a relationship with the family. They had a daughter too, and the daughter was something like the mother, a little bitchy, but it all explains why in the end. But she cleaning, cooking, doing things like that, and the wife was kind of like jealous, so she didn't want her talking to the husband. She was playing a role. She didn't want her talking to her husband. She didn't want They couldn't sit next to each other. Like, it was one night where Millie was sitting on the couch watching TV, and the husband came down to get some water in the middle of the night, and he was in his underwear. Wife ended up coming down. That was a problem. But okay, so she was working for them, and she started noticing things, and she just started getting closer to the husband, because at the time the husband was the only one that seemed sane. So she was building connection with the husband, and the wife was getting like jealous. She was getting suspicious and things like that. But um they yeah, so she built a relationship with the husband. She was like she had, what is it called, like, she was feeling bad for the husband, like, your wife is horrible, this and that, like, and everything. I just cannot explain this book without giving it away, because it's just so, like, It's so many plot twists, y'all, and y'all gonna be like, oh my God, what is going on? I can't believe she did that. I can't believe that was there. I can't believe he said that. I can't believe, like, you just, this book I will read again. Honestly, I would say this is my number one book from, like, far as thriller and suspect kind of books. This is my number one read of the year, because, and this was like my first book I started back reading this year. So I started back reading this year, and this is the first book I picked up. And y'all, I will read it again. Y'all see how beat up it is. I let my cousin read it, and this is how I came back. But it's okay. It's a book. But I'm gonna just read the back of it because I can't really tell y'all what it is without giving it away. But it say, every day I clean in Winchester's beautiful house top to bottom. I pick up the daughter from school and I cook a delicious meal for the whole family before heading up to eat alone in my tiny room on the top floor. I told y'all she was in the attic. I try to ignore how Nina makes a mess just to watch me clean it up. So she will purposely do things and blame it on the maid to make it seem, So it say how she tells the strange lies about her own daughter and how her husband Andrew seems more broken every day. But as I look into Andrew's handsome brown eyes, so full of pain, it's hard not to imagine what it would be like to live Nina's life. The walk in the closet, the fancy car, the perfect husband. I try on one of Nina's pristine white dresses. Oh, because the wife only wore white. I tried on one of Nina's pristine white dresses once just to see what it looked like, but she soon finds out. And by the time that I realize my attic bedroom door only locks from the outside, it's far too late. But I rest assured, the Winchesters don't know who I really am. They don't know what I'm capable of. They don't know what she capable of, and she don't know what they capable of. Cause y'all, this book is. The next book is by the same author. Another book that had me on my toes, y'all. Had me on my toes, just anxious to read. Like, I've never been, like, when I was younger, I always been a reader. I never been anxious to read a book, so excited to get home to read a book, or taking my book everywhere. Like, this book, I was taking everywhere with me because I wanted to finish it. So, like, I wanted to know what was going to happen next. Like, it's getting me excited just talking about it because this book was so good, y'all. I'm telling y'all, that book was amazing. But the second one is Never Lie by Frida. This is a good book too. Y'all, but I tell y'all, this one is about a couple, Ethan and Trisha, newly married. They looking for a house, and they stumble upon this house. Every house that they found, they did not like, but they stumbled upon one house that they really liked. They go visit the house, and it's a snowstorm. So they end up getting stuck in the house. And the person house that they were stuck in was this famous author, and she ended up like disappearing without a trace. No one know what happened to her, nothing. So they end up getting stuck in her house, and like basically like spending a weekend, and they find these things. She was a famous author. She was a therapist. So they start finding her tapes from when she was having sessions with her clients, her customers and stuff like that, and they was reading it. And the wife, Trisha, was paranoid in the house. She kept saying, like, I keep seeing things, I'm hearing things. And she was also snooping around listening to the tapes, but she didn't want her husband to know that she was listening to the tapes because she didn't want him to say anything to her about snooping around in other people's things, because the therapist, all her things was in the house. Everything was left untouched, everything. So it was this big portrait in her living room of her hanging up, y'all. And they end up taking the picture down because they said it was so creepy, and the wife was uncomfortable with that picture being up, y'all. So the wife ended up waking up in the middle of the night, and the picture was back on the wall. So she goes to wake up her husband, but at that point, because she was already making so many accusations about the house and someone being in the house, that he did not believe her, he wanted to just go back to sleep. So he never went to check and see about the picture. So the next morning, the picture was back off the wall, and she was like, basically like she was happy that he took the picture back off the wall. He was like, what are you talking about? I've been took it off. You seen me take the picture off the wall. So she like, so you never took it off after we went back upstairs? And he like, no, you're being crazy, da da da. So he was, I forgot what kind of work her husband did, but he went in the room and he was doing work and she was snooping around listening to tapes because she's trying to figure out what happened to him. I mean, what happened to the therapist, and maybe if one of her clients killed her. She had a boyfriend. They don't know what happened to him. So um things start happening. And the husband ended up, the ex-boyfriend popped up in the house. He was the person that was in the house when she was hearing things. Long story short, she was listening to tapes, and I'm gonna stop there because what happens next is just like, you have to read it. I don't want to give away the book now. Don't get me wrong, I could do book reviews on, like, I could do a full book reviews on any book that I have that I will show y'all. But that's only if. But I might just do full Frida McFadden book review video with, I want to say probably 3 books, 3 or 4 books of hers that I've read, and I could do full reviews on them. But y'all, this last book took a lot out of me to even finish, but it was worth it. It was worth it. I will read it again. I will read it again. So y'all, first I'm gonna take a pause because I'm gonna tell y'all. I'm gonna show y'all how I keep track of my books. It's an app. Um, it's an app called Bookmary. I haven't read in a while, y'all. I took a break on reading, so my calendar is kind of empty. But this is how I keep track on what I read. Y'all see, this is the book that I was talking about, The Silent Patient by Alex Michael. I don't want to pronounce his last name wrong. Y'all. This is the book. So this is the book app that I use to track my books. Y'all see how long it took me to read The Silent Patient. It starts with us. That's the second book to It Ends with Us. And the other books that I've read, Never Lie. This is the second book I was talking about, The Housemaid Secrets. That was okay book. And The Housemaid. It took me 3 days to read The Housemaid because y'all, I would not get over that book. And then Frida is she's very good at suspense and having you on your toes, having you up all night reading. I had to buy me a book light because I wanted to read in my bed, but I didn't want the full light on. So I had to give me a book light because I was going to read that book in the dark regardless. Like, before I got my book light, I would turn my flashlight on my phone and just just have it up because y'all, I'm going to read. That's one thing I'm going to do. So y'all, I did, yeah. So I invested in a book light to read at night. But let's get back to this book, the last book, The Silent Patient. Oh God. This book, okay, I'm not even gonna lie, it started off slow. I started it, I stopped it. Because I couldn't understand, like, I think they're from England? No. Greek. They're from, I don't know. I don't know. But the way he talked is like, it's kind of weird. But long story short, okay, so lady, this lady shot her husband in the face 5 times. Okay, let's just pause on that because she did what? She did what now? Right. She shot her husband in the face 5 times. And after that, did not say a word to nobody. Why she did it, none of that stuff. During trial, never said anything, nothing. Crazy. Right. Right? So it's like I said, it's this person, this lady, she shot her husband 5 times in the face, and it's this man, he's a psychiatrist, therapist, whatever you want to call it. I'm not really sure about all the little terms to it. But he ended up working at the facility that she was in because they put her in the facility because she would not talk to no one, nothing. So they didn't throw her in jail. They threw her in a psych ward like she's a crazy lady. So he ended up, because he learned about her or whatever. So he ended up getting a job in her psych ward. He started talking to his manager. It was like, I want to be her therapist. I'm trying to get her to talk, try to get her to share her story on what happened and why it happened. And y'all, this is a book that I can honestly say I could not tell y'all in too many details without giving away. So he's just pursuing on getting her to talk, so having sessions with her and everything. And I think they first session they had together, she jumped on him, she pounced on him. I don't know if it was like the first or second session that they had together, but she jumped on him. She like scratched him up, made him bleed. She like, she got him. So long story short, everybody was like, I don't think you should keep trying to get her to talk. She's crazy. She's not going to talk to no one. She did what she did, and she's a crazy, basically. So he like, I got hope for her, and especially with her being a big person in the news because she killed her husband and didn't say nothing. So of course she was in the news. Her name was big. So he's thinking, if I can get her to talk. And the psych ward place was closing because I think they was like getting a lot of bad reviews or something like that. So his main thing was, if I could get her to talk, I could probably save our jobs. I can get the board off our back and this and that. So he's doing these sessions with her, and she ended up talking. She actually ended up talking to him. But the reason she started talking, y'all, will get y'all off y'all feet, because it's just like, me personally, just by reading these 2 books, I read all these books that I'm showing y'all. I read with my coworkers. So as we was reading The Silent Patient, I was telling them like, yeah, I feel like he's the crazy person, such and such and such. Because just by reading Frida books, it will get you hip on uh thinking of something, and it turns out to be the next thing. So read Frida books, and then you read this, you'll kind of be like, okay, yeah, I know what's about to happen, or stuff like that. And when I tell y'all, I was calling this book out like crazy because it was just giving like, expect expect the unexpected. That's what it was. When I got to reading Frida books, all her books, it was expect the unexpected, because it literally had you on your toes. You, 1 minute you thinking you got the book all figured out, and the unexpected happened. So reading this book, I kind of like I kind of like train my mind to expect the unexpected. So when I was discussing this book with my partners, my coworkers or whatever, and I was telling them like, no, it's something about this book is giving very much Freida McFadden, and I was right. I wasn't right. No, I was right. Okay, I got messages about it. I got messages about it like, no, this not something ain't right. She's not the crazy one. It's someone else that's the crazy one. But she ended up talking or whatever, and then she had this diary, so she ended up writing down. And what he read, he knew he fucked up. Y'all, when I tell y'all, he knew he fucked up. But me personally, all 4 of these books, 10 out of 10, I would recommend to anybody. It's a second Housemaid. It wasn't as good as the first one. I was expecting a little more. Now they got a third Housemaid out. I got to read that one. I'm going to forever keep buying Freida McFadden books. I'm actually about to go start one. So y'all, I was just giving y'all some books to read, just for a good read. I got a few more books that I can give suggestions on based on what you like. You just comment on what you like and I can see if I got it. I got self-care books that I'm going to be talking about. The ones that I've read, ones that I didn't read, the ones I plan on read because reading. But um yeah, so will put the link in the description for all 4 of them books because I got all my books off Amazon except Never Lie and it was another book. But everything is on Amazon. I would recommend getting your books off Amazon before going in the store anyways because it's a bit extra. And Amazon is a little cheaper. But I'm gonna put the link in the description for all 4 of them books. Check them out. I highly recommend them. You're gonna love them if you're just looking for a good read, on your chill time. Like I said, get into your hobbies. Find you a hobby. Okay? Books is good. Y'all see, I told y'all I read books and I read them with other people. That's a good hobby. We have fun reading them together. We have fun discussing them. And then like if a movie come out, we have fun go watching the movie together. So, but yeah. Thank y'all for watching my video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see y'all next week.